Since it first opened in August 2010, Jojo's Café on Main Street in Osoyoos has become a popular meeting spot to enjoy a cup of quality coffee or a light meal.
There you are. Thank you.
It's a town institution. Recently, however, Jojo's has become much more, an important venue for live music and a showcase for visual art. On a recent Saturday in August, Jojo's hosted a sold-out solo concert by Gary Felgard, an award-winning country music singer-songwriter. 4 days later, Twin Peaks, an award-winning roots music duo, again filled Jojo's. Then, the following Saturday, the last of the month, Jojo's held its monthly night of open mic music and art.
There's a moon with lights, there's the whitest and the tallest and biggest one. She's my soul and fire, and she doors open in 79. 37 years of it, inspiring lives, memorable moments, oh so dear.
The cafe has come a long way from owner Joanne Muirhead's original idea of a place where she could indulge her love of baking.
You know, actually, when I first started, I thought, oh, this is going to be great. I love to bake, so I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to make a batch of cookies, I'm going to make a batch of muffins. Some people are going to come in and eat them and have coffee, and it'll be nice and, you know, nice and slow, and I'll just get to bake all the time and I'll love it. Didn't really happen that way. Now it's, 16 employees and constant, we're just so busy all the time. And
Muirhead has been cooking and baking since she was a child, but her initial career path was very different. She worked 10 years as a wildlife biologist.
You know, I have always been interested in a million different things, and opening a coffee shop is something I've always wanted to do, really. And I actually started writing my business plan when I worked for a company in Prince George that for them, what I did was I wrote business plans for people. I helped them start their own businesses, and I got this passion for business. So I ended up writing my own business plan for this coffee shop. And never, ever in a million years did I think I was ever going to actually do it, because I was terrified. Scary thing to open your own business. And so one day I got a phone call from my sister, and she said, our dad was on a hike this afternoon, and he collapsed and passed away. He had a heart attack, and that absolutely shook my world, and it made all of the fear I ever had for anything go away. All I really felt was grief at the time. So I was just sort of going through the motions of life and living, and all of a sudden this place came available for lease. And I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. Let's give it a try. So I did, and here we are, almost 6 years later.
This tragedy helped Muirhead to overcome her biggest fears.
I think the biggest thing for me, the biggest lesson I learned from that whole experience was how much fear was controlling my whole life. And I've always wanted to do so many things, and I've always been so afraid to do them. And I don't have that fear anymore, because I realize it's just a stupid emotion. It's useless for me in this aspect. And the other thing is, I'm not immortal.
Yeah.
we need to seize every day that we have.
Of course, one of the keys to a successful coffee shop is being able to offer great coffee.
Our coffee is specially roasted by a roaster in Vernon, Max Votes, and it's great coffee. That's one thing that I have always been adamant about, is that we have excellent quality, organic, fair trade coffee that we can brew strong. I hate going someplace and you get a stupid weak cup of coffee, so we don't serve weak coffee here. It's the real McCoy.
Muirhead is also choosy about the staff she hires. She recently ran an ad in the Osoyoos Times headed "Wanted, Very Happy People." The ad puts attitude well above experience.
Exactly. You can learn everything, but if you're not inherently a happy, enthusiastic, energetic person, then this probably isn't the right place for you. That's what we hire on, and I get comments all the time like, "You have the best staff." I know I do, and that's why, because they're just great people, and they're all really, really hilarious too, which helps a lot.
In the 6 years that Jojo's has been open, the biggest change has been the role that music and art now play in the cafe.
A hunter on the old brown hills, somewhere in the west, the sun is gonna set, a moment just before he makes his kill.
You know, probably the biggest thing is incorporating my passion for music and art into the cafe. In the beginning, I have to admit that I kind of struggled with, well, this is just a coffee shop. You know, where do I fit in the world? You know, in the bigger scene. How am I making this a better place? And so some customers and actually an employee of mine said, "Well, why don't you have concerts here?" And I was like, I don't know how, I don't know who, and I just don't have time. I'm doing this business all on my own, and I'm just not too sure how to go about the whole thing. And they said, "Well, we'll do it for you." I said, "Perfect, perfect, you guys go for it." And since then, we have increased our music and the exposure of artists tenfold. We have something almost every week.
I think it's a wonderful part of her venue. Joanne's a big supporter of the arts, for anyone that knows her. She's an artist herself, and she just likes to make her venue available for the community for that reason. And it's, for me, I was looking for a place to express myself, and Joanne has the place but not the time to coordinate these things, so we've sort of worked as a team, and it's worked out really well.
Alan Blaken, who has been booking bands since high school, has taken the lead in booking concerts, but others are also involved.
End of the last Saturday of every month, we do an art and music night, and so we'll have a visual artist. It could be photography, painting, carving, pretty much anything in the visual arts. Or
the concerts cover a wide range of music styles, and Blaken keeps them affordable.
yeah, as cheap as free. So every last Saturday, art music nights are always free for the audience. Outside of that, we'll start our ticket prices at $5, and the maximum that I will ever do a concert for is $20. And the reason for that is I want it to be accessible to as many people as possible. I don't want a $100 venue where you cut off 2/3 of the population. So $20 is the tops I will ever charge for a ticket.
You know, this is not a moneymaker by any stretch of the imagination. It's not done for that purpose at all. It's done to, you know, the biggest thing that I get is it adds a really cool vibe to my shop, because every time something really neat happens at one of these events, I feel like that energy kind of gets absorbed by the walls of the coffee shop. And so, you know, it's interesting because sometimes people will walk in, they've never been into the coffee shop before, and they'll say, "This place has got such a neat vibe." That's why. It's because of the events that we have and the people that contribute to that good aura and that good energy.
And if we can turn the corner with this, where we get more and more entertainment coming to town, and we bring in a new kind of tourism too, instead of just the lake. The lake is great, but if we can bring in an entertainment sector to this town as well, then I think that'll help the town. And it certainly gives the town a fuller, sort of fleshed out feeling than we just have the lake or we just have this.
What's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah. I say, hey, what's going on?
This is Richard McGuire, digital editor with the Osoyoos Times and Aberdeen Publishing.